The chilling true story of Ed Gein, America's most infamous grave robber and killer. Ed Gein, one of the most notorious figures in the annals of American criminal history, is often considered the inspiration for some of Hollywood's most famous villains, including Norman Bates in Psycho, Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Buffalo Bill in The Silence of the Lambs. Gein's disturbing life, marked by grave robbing, murder, and macabre rituals, left an indelible mark on both crime history and pop culture. In this article, we will dive deep into the story of Ed Gein, his upbringing, crimes, psychological makeup, investigation, trial, and enduring legacy in criminal lore. And in the last, how to save our family from this type of criminals. Lesson learned in the last, so please watch the last. Early life and background. Birth and family. Ed Gein was born on August 27, 1906, in La Crosse County, Wisconsin, to George and Augusta Gein. His mother, Augusta, was a domineering and religiously fanatic woman who profoundly influenced Ed's psyche. Childhood and family life. Ed's early life was deeply affected by his mother's authoritarian beliefs. Augusta taught Ed and his brother Henry that women were the root of all evil, leading Ed to develop a twisted and unhealthy attachment to her. The impact of his mother's death. After Augusta's death in 1945, Ed Gein became increasingly isolated. His already fragile mental state deteriorated further, pushing him into his horrific crimes. The emotional scars from his mother's dominance would manifest in his later actions. The first crime, grave robbing. The beginning of Gein's dark obsession. Gein's descent into crime began with grave robbing. In the late 1940s and early 1950s, he exhumed bodies from local cemeteries, often targeting recently buried women who resembled his deceased mother. The motive behind the grave robbing. Gein's grave robbing obsession was driven by his belief that he could create a female body to replace his mother. He meticulously skinned the corpses and preserved their body parts, which he used to create his grotesque shrine. The murder. The first murder. Gein's first known murder occurred in 1954, when he killed Bernice Worden, a local hardware store owner. This murder marked a significant escalation in his criminal activity. The details of the Worden murder. Bernice Worden was last seen in her store, and Gein later confessed to having shot her, decapitated her, and hung her body upside down in his shed. He then removed her organs, which he preserved, and used parts of her body for his grotesque collection. The murder of Mary Hogan. Another of Gein's victims was Mary Hogan, a tavern owner who went missing in 1954. Gein had been involved in the murder, though it wasn't until after his arrest that authorities connected the dots. Discovery of Ed Gein's crime. The investigation begins. The investigation into Gein's crimes began after the disappearance of Bernice Worden. Law enforcement officers visited his farm, expecting to find evidence related to her disappearance. The gruesome discovery. What authorities found on Ed Gein's property was beyond comprehension. The entire house was a macabre museum of human remains, including skulls, masks, and body parts. Gein had fashioned a variety of items from human skin, including lampshades, chair covers, and a suit made of female body parts. Ed Gein's confession upon his arrest. Gein confessed to the murders of Worden and Hogan, and to the grave robbing. He claimed that he was trying to create a woman suit in the likeness of his mother. Psychological profile of Ed Gein. The role of Augusta Gein. Ed's twisted relationship with his mother is crucial to understanding his actions. Augusta's extreme religious views, along with her intense control over Ed and his brother, created a toxic environment that led to Ed's mental instability. Psychological disorders. Ed Gein's behavior fits the profile of several psychological disorders, including necrophilia, schizophrenia, and obsessive-compulsive disorder. His fixation on body parts and his mother's dominance over him suggest a deep-rooted psychological dysfunction. Gein is a psychopath. Many experts argue that Ed Gein exhibited clear signs of psychopathy. He lacked empathy for his victims, and his actions were driven by a need to satisfy his perverse desires. The trial of Ed Gein. Arrest and legal proceedings. Ed Gein was declared legally insane and sent to the Central State Hospital for the Criminally Insane in Wisconsin. His trial brought attention to the horrors he had committed and sparked a broader discussion about mental health and criminal responsibility. Life in the mental hospital. Gein spent the rest of his life in the mental hospital, where he was kept under strict supervision. He was never tried for the murder of his brother Henry, although it is widely believed he was responsible for that death as well. The legacy of Ed Gein. Influence on pop culture. Ed Gein's crimes have had a lasting impact on popular culture. Characters like Norman Bates, Leatherface, and Buffalo Bill were inspired by Gein's twisted life and crimes, cementing his place in horror lore. The myth versus reality of Ed Gein. While Ed Gein is often portrayed as a monster in movies, it's important to remember that he was a deeply troubled man who was shaped by a combination of childhood trauma and mental illness. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of neglecting mental health. Gein's influence on true crime. Ed Gein's story continues to be a focal point for true crime enthusiasts, criminologists, and psychologists. His crimes are often used as case studies for understanding criminal behavior, particularly the link between childhood trauma and adult violence. Key lessons from the story of Ed Gein. Please keep watching if you reach here, as this is an important part of the story. The impact of childhood trauma and dysfunctional family dynamics. Ed Gein's early life was shaped by a controlling, abusive mother who instilled deep-seated fears, hatred of women, and unhealthy attachments. His mother's extreme religious views and domineering behavior played a significant role in his psychological development, contributing to his later crimes. The importance of a healthy, supportive family environment is crucial to a child's development. The influence of family dynamics, especially in early years, can have a lasting effect on an individual's mental health and behavior. Key insight: parents must be aware of their own influence over their children. The potential psychological consequences of neglect or overbearing behavior. Early interventions can help children cope with emotional trauma before it escalates. The dangers of isolation and lack of social connection. Ed Gein lived much of his life in isolation after the death of his mother, which further exacerbated his psychological issues. His social isolation, coupled with his unhealthy obsession with his mother, pushed him deeper into his criminal activities. Fostering healthy relationships and social connections is key to preventing individuals from retreating into isolation, which can breed dangerous thoughts and behaviors. Encourage open communication and emotional support within families, schools, and communities. Social connections help individuals feel understood and grounded, which can prevent them from being overwhelmed by isolation. The significance of mental health awareness and intervention. Gein's life and crimes were heavily influenced by untreated mental illness. His obsession with his deceased mother and his grave-robbing activities were symptoms of underlying psychiatric issues that went unaddressed until it was too late. Recognizing signs of mental health issues early is essential to preventing the escalation of harmful behavior. Family members should be trained to notice early warning signs of emotional distress, obsessive behaviors, and mental health disorders. Seeking professional help is crucial. If someone shows symptoms of mental illness, particularly in cases of obsessive or compulsive behavior, it's important to get them evaluated by a mental health professional. Mental health resources and treatment options, such as therapy, counseling, and medication, should be readily available to those who need them. The importance of community and law enforcement vigilance. The crimes committed by Gein went undetected for years. In part because of his isolated living situation and the absence of effective oversight by the local community and law enforcement. It wasn't until the disappearance of Bernice Worden that his crimes were uncovered. Community vigilance can be crucial in detecting and preventing crime. Neighbors, local organizations, and community groups should foster an environment where people look out for one another, especially in isolated or vulnerable situations. Law enforcement training and resources should include a focus on mental health and psychological evaluation. When investigating strange behaviors or criminal activities, recognizing signs of mental instability in individuals can help authorities intervene earlier. The role of media and cultural depictions in shaping criminal behavior. Ed Gein's story, while tragic, has been heavily sensationalized in popular culture, leading to a fascination with his crimes. While this has contributed to his infamous legacy in crime history, it also highlights the complex relationship between criminal behavior and its cultural depiction. Media and pop culture should approach true crime stories with caution and responsibility. While it is essential to inform the public, sensationalizing or romanticizing criminal behavior can lead to harmful cultural perceptions and desensitize the public to the severity of the crimes. Promoting healthy media consumption and encouraging critical thinking about the portrayal of crime in media can help prevent unhealthy obsessions and unrealistic fears. How to protect your family from criminals like Ed Gein. While it's impossible to predict and prevent all potential criminal behavior, there are proactive steps that can help safeguard families and communities. Foster open communication and trust within the family. Establishing open channels of communication within the family is crucial. Encourage children to express their feelings and concerns, and always listen actively. Ensure that family members feel safe to discuss emotional or psychological issues without fear of judgment. This early emotional support can help prevent isolation and mental health issues from escalating. Encourage healthy socialization and community involvement. Encourage your family to stay connected with friends, neighbors, and community organizations. Isolation is one of the key factors that contributed to Ed Gein's behavior. Children, teenagers, and adults should be encouraged to participate in social activities that foster positive relationships and help them build strong, supportive networks. Monitor and address early signs of mental health issues. Stay vigilant for early signs of mental health problems such as excessive isolation, obsession with dark or morbid subjects, extreme personality changes, or signs of depression and anxiety. Ensure that family members have access to mental health professionals and therapy when needed. Regular mental health checkups and screenings can help prevent issues from developing into something more severe. Educate your family on personal safety. Teach your family members about personal safety and how to recognize potentially dangerous situations. This includes understanding boundaries, respecting others' privacy, and avoiding harmful or manipulative behavior. Be aware of any strangers or unfamiliar people who show interest in your family members. Encourage children and teenagers to trust their instincts and avoid unsafe situations. Support local law enforcement and community safety initiatives. Encourage family involvement in local community safety programs, such as neighborhood watch groups. Working together to maintain a safe environment for everyone can help prevent criminal activity. Build relationships with local law enforcement and stay informed about any suspicious activities or potential threats in your neighborhood. Create safe boundaries and avoid overdependence on isolation. And establish healthy boundaries for personal space and emotional well-being. Make sure family members are not overly dependent on one another in a way that stifles their individuality or social independence. Encourage balance in relationships, where everyone has room to grow and express themselves in a healthy manner. Conclusion and takeaway from this learning video. Ed Gein's story is a reminder of the profound impact that family dynamics, childhood trauma, mental health issues, and isolation can have on an individual's psyche. By understanding these factors and being proactive in fostering emotional well-being, we can better protect ourselves and our families from potential harm. Creating a supportive environment, promoting mental health awareness. Staying vigilant in our communities, and setting healthy boundaries are all key strategies to prevent similar tragedies. By learning from Gein's story, we can work towards building stronger, safer, and more connected families and communities. Thank you so much for watching this deep dive into the chilling story of Ed Gein. If you found this video informative and intriguing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. so you never miss out on any of our true crime stories and deep dives into the darkest corners of history. If you have any thoughts or questions, leave them in the comments below. We love hearing from you. And remember, stay safe, stay aware, and always plunge into crime with us.